the candidate for the United States Senate for the Republican Party, Mr. Kevin Wade. Thank you for being here, Kevin.
Thank you, Councilman. It's a pleasure to be with you, and happy Father's Day to you. And today is a glorious day. Reminds me of something from morning prayer in my earlier days of church attendance. Today is the day the Lord hath made. Rejoice and be glad in it.
Amen.
Right. Amen. Amen.
Cal Brown.
Yeah, good to be back on the show with you.
My man.
Councilman Brown, how you been, man?
I'm doing good, man.
Been good?
All is
Looking
well.
Looking well. How's the campaign coming?
Well, you know, right now we're moving at a pace that will get us there. We don't want to be too tired. Got the marriage coming up.
Yeah.
In September, the wedding,
Right.
and we're doing action and things, and we got people on the ground for us, and I'll be filing, always waiting till around my birthday.
Okay.
So my birthday is next Saturday, so I'm going to file next Friday morning
Okay.
for my bid for re-election. So I'll be filing for re-election next Friday morning, and I'll be putting out, we got some yard signs and some stuff that came in, and we're going to be putting those out next Monday, the following Monday, not on my birthday weekend.
Okay.
Going to just relax. So, but that's where we're at.
Good.
So,
It's good to hear that. Of course, I'll be supporting you out there on the trail and, doing all I can to see that Mike Brown reelected to City Council at large.
I appreciate it.
And we just want you to know that the city is indebted for your kind of leadership, your ability to speak the truth that matters. And not worry about sometimes all the political fallout. So we're just expecting wonderful things from government. I'm excited about 2012, especially in the Republican Party.
Yeah.
Just excited about a number of issues that have, I think, surfaced that the Republican Party needs to underscore and highlight, and to let the folk know, in not only just locally but nationally, that America may be in big trouble if we don't make some real quick changes here. So we're going to be excited about the candidacy of Mr. Kevin Wade. Looking forward to working closely with him in upcoming events, and to do all we can to see that he can be a nice, conservative, sound voice for Delawareans.
Well, truly, our time is short.
Mm-hmm.
The task at hand is very difficult. Much of the seed corn for the future generation has been spent, and not spent wisely. Our first goal is, as men here on Father's Day, is to look after our children and our grandchildren.
That's right.
My campaign is not about me. It's not about my political celebrity. God bless the Republican Party, but it is not about the Republican Party. The work I'm doing, what I've taken on as my purpose, is to give this country shiny penny new to our children and reverend to our grandchildren. That's my purpose.
I appreciate that.
that's your camera here. So I having said that,
Happened in 3 years. Mike, I have to do it every month. I need to have a budget every single month. My life and his life are completely different. I don't think that professional politicians, I don't think 35 years in public office will serve Delaware in the way that needs to be served in this time of crisis. That's why I'm standing up.
Cal, you want to ask the
Yeah, I was looking here at the people was talking about the economy. I know it was last week that the president said that the private sector was doing fine, but I don't quite see it that way. I mean, as a small business person myself, even though I have a secular job, primarily run a small barber shop, just 3 of us in there, and it doesn't look that way. I can tell sometime by the number of clients that come in.
Yes, sir.
Economically, in terms of developing the small businesses, what do you see that a Kevin Wade leadership in the United States Senate, what kind of vision or ideals can you bring to the Senate to help encourage small businesses?
Well, I'm an engineer, and I appreciate that question.
Mm-hmm.
We have to re-engineer how the inside of Washington works. Before we start canceling programs that help people, we got to figure out better ways to operate these programs. Okay, there's too much bus driver and too few bus passengers in terms of what we're paying for here. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay, the baker's eating too much before it gets on the shelves. we have to re-engineer how Washington works. The last thing we need to do is to cut programs. The first thing we need to do is reduce the size of Washington. We have a bureaucracy that sets regulations that gives us tripping hazards every day when you're operating a small business or you're trying to start a small business. We need to open doors so small businessmen can stand up. In fact, it's small businessmen who create the jobs. It's small businessmen who meet the needs in a society. And you see it. You have a barbershop, you're seeing folks come in a little bit longer between haircuts.
Absolutely.
You're hearing that. And I know people are saying, hey, look, can you cover me this week? I'll be back in next week to pay you. And I know you're a good man. You probably work that way.
Yeah.
We're all seeing it.
Okay.
Tom Carper's not seeing it. Washington isn't seeing it. Washington won't change till we change the people in Washington.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
go ahead, Cal.
Go ahead. I also noticed that one of the bigger issues that the country is now facing is the downsizing of the military. I work for the Veterans Administration Hospital. A lot of the veterans are concerned that the budget allocations are going to affect the kind of care that our bravest men and women have put their life on the line. I'm a veteran also, so it affects me also. I think Mike's a veteran too.
Certainly am.
Yeah, so we're concerned, and I'm worried that we're downsizing tremendously our ability to respond. Where are you at with the military and the care of the veterans?
Well, there's two areas. First of all, let's set the stage for the crisis we're in. Over the past year, the federal government has borrowed 40 cents of every dollar that they've spent. That's a huge amount. That's not 4 cents, that's not 14. That's 40 cents of every dollar. We have to find better ways of doing everything in less expensive ways. But I've spoken to crowds around Delaware, and I said there's two areas where we can't cut, and that's for our seniors who are receiving Social Security. They based their life plans based on promises they got from Washington. They didn't know those promises weren't sound. We have to make good on Social Security for those people still receiving. And our wounded warriors, these fine young men and women have left their homes and their families to go, and they've been faced with some brutal injuries. We have to make sure that they have all the care that we can provide for them, and to the point that if we have to sell the copper gown off of the Statue of Liberty and sell it out for scrap to pay for those things, we will do that. There's certain things we won't yield on, but we've got to find better, smarter, and more efficient ways to get everything else done. And we got to get our people back to work. We have to get people back to work. We have a country we have to rebuild here. We're not going to do it with people sitting on their hands. And I want to speak to the young people. I know what it's like to be 18 and you don't have any job skills. You got to get out there and find something to grab onto and start climbing up. I'm going to help you. We're going to start building that ladder of opportunity again and open some doors of opportunity. We got to get people back to work. We have a world of things that need to be done, and we need everyone involved.
Well, gas prices are down recently, and many feel that that that's still too high. What makes you think that you can lower the prices of gasoline?
Well, again, I've lived a life outside politics. You know, I'm an engineer. I've traveled around the country and around the world. I said that earlier. I've spent a couple of years working on offshore oil platforms. I think I'm the only person to run for statewide elective office in Delaware, or perhaps even east of the Mississippi, who's worked on offshore oil platforms. I know where oil and gas come from. I know the good jobs that work creates. I know that we send $1 billion a day outside our country every single day that should stay here to help us, to create more jobs here. I believe there's a treasure, a resource right under our feet in this country and just off the shores that can be produced safely. And I know the quality of jobs and the good wages that come with this. So let's put people to work developing oil and gas. That's not all of the answer, that's part of the answer. Let's lift up this oil and this gas. Let's get our people to work. Let's keep that money at home, and let's get some more supply in there. And with more supply, we're going to see a decline. In fact, in some ways, oil prices and gas prices are almost like a balloon that if you just put a small pinprick in it, you can just make it pop and it'll suddenly drop down. This is what can happen. My opponent, Senator Carper, he keeps talking about wind turbines. Well, I'm an engineer enough to know that I don't care how much you spin a turbine blade in the wind, you're not going to put a gallon of gas in anyone's car. Let's do it the right way and let's get our people back to work.
What about the pipeline that the president has for some reason not signed that would bring hundreds of thousands of good-paying jobs to the United States economy. We heard the Republican candidate Mitt Romney supporting that pipeline. As a United States Senator, you're going to have a lot to do with that being implemented. Have you thought much about that pipeline?
Yes, I have. We're going to build that pipeline.
All right.
There's going to be thousands and thousands of jobs created. I have friends in the construction unions, and they haven't had good hours in years. I mean, there was a time back in the day when you'd be working overtime, you'd be working double time, you'd have what was called travel money. There was so much work, you'd travel to maybe Virginia, you might travel to Kentucky to do a project, and you'd be away from your home, but when you came home, you could pay your bills, maybe take your kids to Disney. Well, we have to get back to that. There's a pipeline that needs to be built to bring oil down from our friendly neighbor to the north, Canada. Our only difference is with Canada over hockey. Those are small differences. Instead, we have two carrier battle groups outside the Persian Gulf. I have a niece whose husband is serving in Kabul in uniform. We've got to take care of our own here. Let's keep our money at home. Let's bring our young people back home. Let's build that pipeline.
All right. Nice.
Hey, Senator Carper's been in office for about 35 years, and you spoke, you spoke about term limit. What yourself? What do you think about that?
Well, I don't think a pitcher's fastball improves after 35 years. I don't think that curveball breaks to the left any better after 35 years. And also, seriously, our founders who founded this country, they expected to have citizens come from the village, come from the community, go and represent for a time, and then come back. That keeps you fresh. That keeps you close to the folks. 35 years doesn't keep you close. Senator Carper went into office before Dr. J was an NBA rookie. You understand?
Wow.
He went into office when the American Motors Gremlin was a hot seller in the showroom. Well, 35 years is a long time. It's not working for us. We've got to take a change. Washington won't change till we change the people in Washington.
Cal, you got anything you want to?
Yeah, I want to just go along with that. Normally, I'm not a term limits guy, but here's where I base this on. When the ideas that come out of Washington, what the young people call the remix. You hear a lot of movies being redone and songs being remade over.
Cal, I didn't like that mix the first time.
Yeah, but when you find that they become bankrupt and void of ideas or innovative processes, then that's when I think an individual needs to go. I think Senator Carper has just, I tell you, when I first met him, I met him at a game and I supported him. The first time he ran, I thought he was energetic. He had a lot of fire in the belly, and I thought he was working. But over the years, the bureaucracy has made him just a regular politician. And it's just regular stuff that he does. It's no longer exciting, no longer new, no longer innovative, no longer creative. And my reason for wanting him replaced is those reasons. Not the fact that he's been there 35 years, but the fact of the last maybe 10 years coming out of Washington has been nothing but a remix. And quite frankly, I've had it with the remix. And I'm looking for, these are challenging times.
These are challenging
And you can't just remix it. We need some creativity. So I'm liking what I'm hearing from the Kevin Wade administration in Washington. I'm liking the fact that you're in engineering, you understand some of the more technical challenges that America's facing. We're in a complicated society. We need technical people to be able to address some of these problems. And I'm liking the fact that you're willing to support the veterans.
Well, let me say this. What's on my mind isn't Senator Carper's 35-year career. It's not his job security. He will retire with a retirement program far, far nicer than our own. I'm worried about the Mikes and the Kevins and the Cals who are 18 and 19 who need to get a start in life. That's what's on my mind. That's the only thing on my mind.
Well, I've heard you. Hopefully the folks that's sitting home just before they get ready to go to church, they normally look at this in the mornings. And particularly, I was telling folks all through the week that we will have you and the other candidate for governor on television, and a lot of folks will watch this. And when by the time I get to church, you'll hear some of the senior church members say, "I saw you this morning," and that, I hear what you're saying, and even Democrats. But I want you to look in that camera right where that young lady is sitting at. And you got about 3 minutes, but I'm gonna give you 2 because I need 1. I want you to look in that camera and tell and ask the folks in Wilmington and Newcastle County for their support, and tell them a little bit, and ask them and tell them why.
I'm asking for your support for my candidacy to be the next senator from the state of Delaware. We have so many deep problems in this country that we need some fresh ideas. We need some candid discussion. Ignoring these problems won't make them go away. We all feel it, we all know it, we're all touched by this great recession. We've all got a sense of despair and almost bordering on hopelessness at times because our problems have been with us for so long, Mike. Let us not be divided from our own future. The professional politicians in Washington like to divide one from another. They'll talk about rich and poor, union and management, north and south, black and white, Latino and English. That's what they do, but we won't be divided from one another now. Our time is short. If we stand together, we stay together and do the right thing by our kids, for our kids, we can turn this country around. We can save this nation. We can rebuild this country. I ask for your support. I'm not a professional politician. I'm doing this for the right reasons. I'm going to go in there for a brief time, 1 term, 2 terms, and then I'm finished. I'm going back to my good family and back to my work. And I'm asking for your support. And I'm asking you to believe in one another and care for one another, and we're going to make America great again. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it from right here on Republican show, the Republican Hour. You got a glimpse of the next United States Senator from Delaware for the Republican Party, Kevin Wade. You got to hear a little bit about what his views are and where he wants to help see this country move forward and the path to take. I'm asking you, when you go out and vote this November, when you vote for Mike Brown, please vote for Kevin Wade. And so if you are tired of the what is perceived as a one-party system, if you are tired of the same folks, and you hear me say this all the time, moving from chair to chair, and you look around and you still haven't gotten anywhere any further than where you were before that person moved out of that chair, or the person stands still in the same chair and won't move. So I'm asking that you please take this opportunity and listen to Kevin as he comes back, as he walks through the neighborhoods, as he comes in Wilmington, he comes to the community affairs and all the things that's going on around Wilmington. I'm quite sure you're going to see a lot more of him. In November, you vote for Mike Brown, you'll be voting also for Kevin Wade.